Have you ever found yourself standing in the kitchen, reaching for a little snack, something quick, maybe a handful of nuts, and thinking, well, it's healthy, right? You're not alone. For so many of us over 60, those small choices we make every day, what we eat with our tea, what we keep by the bedside, what we snack on while watching a movie can quietly build up to make a big difference in how we feel, how sharp our minds stay, and how strong our bodies remain. Now, here's the thing: nuts are often praised as superfoods. And in many ways they are. But not all nuts are created equal, especially when you're over 65. Some can work wonders for your heart, your brain, even your joints. Others? They might secretly be messing with your blood pressure, causing inflammation, or silently piling on calories in ways that don't serve you anymore. Today, we're going to have a friendly, honest conversation about exactly that. We're going to talk about the 4 nuts that you should absolutely keep close by and the 4 that you might want to keep far away. This isn't about restriction. It's about clarity, about giving you the information you deserve so you can feel good, think clearly, and move freely for many, many more years to come. So let's start with something most of us already love: the humble walnut. Now, if you're someone who forgets where you placed your glasses or feels like names are just a little harder to recall these days, walnuts might just become your new best friend. These crinkly little gems are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, the very same healthy fats that your brain thrives on. And what's especially amazing, research has shown that regular walnut consumption is linked to better cognitive performance in older adults. That means improved memory, sharper focus, and even a lower risk of developing conditions like Alzheimer's. And it's not just the brain. Walnuts are anti-inflammatory, meaning they help calm down those little aches and joint pains that sneak in after a certain age. They're also known to support heart health by improving cholesterol and blood pressure, 2 things we often keep an eye on past 60. But let's get practical. How much is enough? Just about 6 to 8 walnut halves a day is all you need. You can add them to your oatmeal, sprinkle them over a salad, or even just have them as a quick afternoon bite with a few slices of apple. The key is consistency, not quantity. Now, while we're still in the territory of helpful, healing nuts, let's talk about almonds. You might have heard people say almonds are great for weight loss, but there's more to them than that. For seniors, almonds are especially valuable because they're rich in vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that supports not only your skin, but also your immune system and brain. If you've been feeling a little more tired lately, or if your digestion has slowed down a bit, almonds can gently support you. They're high in magnesium and fiber, to nutrients that many older adults quietly fall short on. Magnesium helps your muscles relax and your heart beat steadily. Fiber? Well, we all know how helpful that is when things aren't quite moving the way they should, right? What's even better is that almonds have a natural crunch and sweetness, so they can easily replace less healthy snacks like cookies or crackers. But here's a little heads up: go for raw or dry roasted almonds without added salt or sugar. Many store-bought versions are coated with honey or salted heavily, and those versions can do more harm than good, especially if you're watching your blood pressure or blood sugar. So next time you're planning your grocery list, think about adding a small bag of unsalted almonds and walnuts to your cart. It's a simple step that might just support your brain, heart, and digestion all at once. Let me pause here for a moment and check in with you. Are any of these already in your pantry? Have you been using them regularly, or maybe avoiding them without realizing how helpful they could be? Sometimes we grow up thinking of nuts as something fancy or something only young people snack on. But truly, these small bites can carry huge health benefits for those of us in our 60s, 70 seconds, and beyond. Now that we've explored the nourishing power of walnuts and almonds, let's keep going. There's one more nut I want to introduce you to, one that often flies under the radar, but has an impressive resume when it comes to senior health. I'm talking about pistachios. Now, if you've ever cracked open a pistachio, you already know they have this pleasant, almost buttery taste and a beautiful green color. But behind that little shell is a big bundle of benefits. Pistachios are rich in plant-based protein, fiber, and antioxidants, making them a wonderful snack for keeping energy up and blood sugar stable, especially between meals. Here's something fascinating. Pistachios have a specific antioxidant called lutein. Why should you care about that? Because lutein plays a key role in eye health. As we age, our eyes naturally go through wear and tear. Conditions like macular degeneration or cloudy vision become more common. But pistachios, thanks to their lutein and zeaxanthin content, can help protect your eyes from this gradual decline. Plus, just like almonds, they contain potassium and magnesium, both crucial for muscle function and heart rhythm. And the act of shelling them, that can even help slow down your eating and make you more mindful of portions. So next time you're enjoying your afternoon tea, why not swap the crackers for a handful of unsalted pistachios? You'll get a bit of protein, a good crunch, and you'll be feeding your heart and eyes at the same time. And now, let's round out our list of must-eat nuts with a surprise pick: Brazil nuts. Yes, Brazil nuts. Big, buttery, and sometimes overlooked, these are nutritional powerhouses. What makes them stand out is their incredibly high selenium content. Selenium is a trace mineral, meaning your body only needs a small amount, but it's absolutely vital for thyroid health, immune function, and even mood regulation. Just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts a day can provide your entire daily requirement for selenium. That's it. More isn't better here, just 1 or 2. Think of them like a supplement in snack form. They can be especially helpful if you're someone who's been feeling sluggish or has had changes in weight or mood that are hard to explain. Sometimes a tired thyroid is the silent culprit. Now, with those 4 nuts: walnuts, almonds, pistachios, and Brazil nuts, you're already giving your body a gentle but powerful daily dose of brain-boosting fats, heart-healthy minerals, and age-fighting antioxidants. But we can't stop there, can we? Because as helpful as some nuts are, there are others that might not be doing you any favors, especially as we get older. Let's talk about the first one: cashews. I know. They're creamy, a little sweet, and honestly, they taste great in almost everything from trail mix to stir fry. But here's the thing. Cashews are higher in oxalates, which can contribute to kidney stones. If you've ever had one, or even just a hint of one, you know how painful that can be. And as we age, our kidneys naturally become a bit less efficient at filtering waste. So it's wise to keep an eye on anything that can strain them. Cashews are also relatively high in carbohydrates compared to other nuts. That means they can spike your blood sugar more than, say, almonds or walnuts. If you're managing prediabetes or diabetes, which many people over 65 are, it's something to be mindful of. And while a small handful now and then won't hurt, regular snacking on cashews, especially the salted or honey-roasted kinds, might be working against your health goals without you realizing it. It's a gentle warning, not a ban. It's okay to enjoy them occasionally. But if they're your go-to snack, it might be time to swap them out for one of the options we just talked about. Now, let's move on to a second nut that's best to limit: macadamia nuts. More importantly, the balance of fats in macadamia nuts isn't ideal if you're trying to support heart health. They're lower in omega-3s and higher in omega-6 fats, which can be inflammatory in excess. As we age, inflammation is something we want to reduce, not encourage, because it contributes to joint pain, fatigue, and chronic conditions like heart disease and even cognitive decline. So while macadamias are fine for an occasional treat, they probably shouldn't be a staple in your daily diet, especially not if you're working on managing weight, cholesterol, or inflammation. It's funny, isn't it? How something so small like a nut can have such a big impact. But when you think about it, every bite is an opportunity, an invitation, a chance to give your body a little boost, or maybe even a break. So far, we've looked at 6 nuts, 4 that can support you in living your best life over 65, and 2 that you might want to gently step back from. And we're not quite done yet. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk about the last 2 nuts that you might want to reconsider if they're sitting in your pantry or showing up often in your snacks. And I say this not to scare you, but to empower you. Because sometimes, it's not just about adding the good, it's about gently letting go of what no longer serves your body at this stage of life. Let's talk about peanuts. Yes, peanuts. Now, this one might surprise you, because peanuts are everywhere. Peanut butter on toast, peanut sauce in dishes, peanuts at social gatherings, they're a staple. But here's the thing, peanuts aren't actually nuts. They're legumes. And that means their nutrient profile is quite different. Peanuts tend to be higher in omega-6 fatty acids, and too much omega-6 without enough omega-3s can throw off the balance in your body. When that balance is out of sync, it can contribute to inflammation, a word we keep coming back to, because inflammation is behind so many age-related issues. From arthritis flare-ups to heart strain, to even the slow clouding of memory. It's all tied in. But that's not all. Peanuts are one of the most common foods contaminated by aflatoxins, a toxin produced by mold that can develop during improper storage. And while most peanuts in the U.S. are tested and relatively safe, aflatoxins are still a concern, especially for older adults whose liver function may not be as robust as it once was. That's not something most of us think about when we pop open a jar of peanut butter, but it's worth considering. I'm not saying you have to swear off peanuts forever, but if you are eating them daily, or your favorite snack is peanut-based, it might be time to rotate in some of those heart-healthier, brain-friendlier nuts we talked about earlier. And that brings us to the final nut on our list, flavored and heavily processed nut mixes. Now I know, this isn't a specific nut like the others, but it deserves a mention. You've probably seen them in stores. The trail mixes coated in yogurt, the honey roasted party mixes, or the spicy, salted blends in shiny packages that look way too tempting to pass up. Here's the catch. Even if these mixes contain good nuts, they're often drowned in sugar, sodium, preservatives, and oils that cancel out the benefits. What you think is a healthy snack might actually be sabotaging your blood pressure, your blood sugar, or your energy levels. And as we age, our body becomes more sensitive to things we once shrugged off. That extra sodium, it can raise your blood pressure. That sneaky sugar, it can spike your glucose. Those hydrogenated oils, they can throw your cholesterol out of whack. So next time you're reaching for a nut mix, flip the bag over and look at the ingredients. If you see a long list of things you can't pronounce, or added sugars and salt in the first few lines, it's probably not the kind of mix your body will thank you for. Stick to raw, dry roasted, or lightly salted nuts if you need that little extra flavor. And if you want variety, why not make your own blend at home? A handful of almonds, a few pistachios, a Brazil nut or 2, it's like your own customized daily dose of vitality. So, let's take a breath together and reflect. You've learned about 4 nuts that can fuel your body after 65: walnuts, almonds, pistachios, and Brazil nuts. These are your allies. They bring heart support, brain protection, anti-inflammatory power, and steady energy. They're not magic pills, but they're mighty helpers. And you've also learned about 4 to be mindful of: cashews, macadamias, peanuts, and overly processed nut blends. These aren't bad, but they do come with baggage. And sometimes, when we let go of what no longer serves us, we make more room for what does. The best part? You don't have to make these changes overnight. No need to overhaul your diet tomorrow morning or toss everything in your kitchen. Small shifts done with intention are far more powerful than sudden, dramatic ones. Maybe it starts with replacing the peanuts in your cupboard with almonds. Maybe tomorrow you sprinkle walnuts over your oatmeal instead of reaching for a processed mix. And maybe next week you introduce Brazil nuts into your routine, not because someone told you to, but because you're choosing to honor your health. And that's the beauty of this stage of life. You have the wisdom to know what your body needs and the freedom to listen to it. If today's video gave you even one idea, one insight, or one gentle nudge in the right direction, then I'm so glad you joined me. And I'd love to hear from you. What's your go-to nut? Did anything in today's conversation surprise you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one, and I love hearing your stories. If this kind of health wisdom resonates with you, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find it. And if you'd like to stay on this journey of empowered aging, vibrant living, and joyful habits, consider subscribing to the channel. We're building a community of strong, smart, and self-loving individuals, and you belong here. Here's to you, your health, your heart, your mind, and all the vibrant years ahead. You deserve to feel your best at any age. Now go grab a handful of those good nuts and start today with intention.